Hello, my name is Chloe, welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you my worst books of 2021. So my apologies remain the same as my best books video. I have a sick voice, I am still recovering or have COVID-19, so that is what's going on here, which ties into my second apology of this video is very late. I was away for Christmas and the New Year, and then I've been sick. So that's why it's late, that's why I sound the way I do, and I apologise for that. I'm not going to rant for too long, I'm going to keep it quite brief because I feel like I rant enough in my weekly vlogs anyway. So you guys probably know all of my opinions on these books. I have watched quite a few worst books videos this year, and following the backlash that particularly Gavin had for his 2020 video, I won't be doing a full disclaimer. All I will say is that, one, if I am giving a book that you love a horrible rating, then I'm sorry, but we all have different opinions. And number two is I am not a trained literary reviewer. I am a 23-year-old woman who has opinions on what she reads. And if I've invested money or time into a book and I don't like it, I feel within my right to tell you I don't like it. So on that note, let's just get started. I found this list very easy to construct. I don't have much to say on each book. Some of them I read quite a long time ago, so I'm just gonna let you know what the book was, when I read it, and some brief thoughts on why I hated it. So first up, we have one of the two controversial opinions on this list, I think, or the most controversial. We have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I actually gave this book 2 stars. It is the highest rated book on this list, but I felt like it deserved a space in my worst books. The Night Circus is a booktube darling. I won't go into the storyline of any of these too much. This is a beautifully written book. It's very lyrical. I wanted to keep the whole book as quotes for meaningful things. It was so lyrical and gorgeous, but I didn't care for the characters at all, and I didn't care for the storyline at all. There is a magic, mystical circus with these rooms and showings that make no sense, and I really wanted to understand how it all made sense. And in the end, I just didn't care enough to do so. I didn't get it. I don't get the hype around it. I did not like The Night Circus. And I should say, I read that back in March. And then in April, we have book 9 on this list, which was Straight On Till Morning by Liz Braswell. This is one of the Disney Twisted Tales, and I have read one from Liz Braswell before, so it wasn't necessarily the writing I didn't like, but I guess it kind of was. This was a chonky book. I remember it being between 450 and 500 pages, and it didn't make any sense to me. So this is a Peter Pan Twisted Tale, and the other one from Liz Braswell I have read was a Beauty and the Beast Twisted Tale, which was a full retelling, reimagining of Beauty and the Beast. This book, I felt like it was supposed to be a sequel. It was very confusing. I couldn't tell whether Wendy had met Peter before or the Lost Boys before. It was like she was revisiting Neverland and re-meeting the characters, and there was just no basis for anything. I feel like 150 pages could have been completely cropped out and ignored and just disregarded. And yeah, so it needed cutting down. It needed a full actual storyline, and it just needed a constructive timeline in it. So you can bend time, but make it clear whether Wendy's doing all of this for the first time, because it felt like she'd met Peter before and something had gone on and she'd come back to rescue him. And I really thought that it was supposed to be confusing and it would be cleared up at the end, but it remained confusing. So I have no idea what this book was meant to do, but I didn't get it. Next, we have The Secret Santa by Trish Harnato, which I read in December. I read it in one sitting on my plane to visit Cole. So get this, I'm in a very excited mood. Everything is amazing. Even the airplane food was good on that stint of the journey. But this book was not it. This was a supposed to be a locked room murder mystery kind of thing. But it wasn't like a closed setting because people turned up, so that ruined that. I genuinely hated it. I was so bored. Nothing about this drew me in. Everything bored me to tears, and it all revolved around a Secret Santa gift swap and I still don't even really know what happened with that. It was just boring, and next year when you're looking for festive reads, please don't go with this one, in my opinion. Next, we have a potentially controversial one, and that is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness, which I read back in November. This is over 500 pages long, and I actually listened to the audiobook. I did have the physical copy, but nothing was drawing me in, and I was so bored. So bored. I feel like there were some interesting plot developments, but in 500 pages, it felt like a whole lot of nothing. This, from what I remember, is a world or a society where all the women are dead. All of the men can hear each other's thoughts, and there's no women, they're all dead. And then the main character is chased out of town with a dog that talks to him. He doesn't know why he's got to go, but he knows he's got to go. He meets a girl that's landed on a spaceship. It was boring, and I know people who love this book, and I don't care for it. Next, I have The Last House Guest by Megan Miranda, which I read back in July. This book. I have read 2 more Megan Miranda books, I believe, which both of them I didn't absolutely hate, and I don't think I would outright recommend them, but I did kind of enjoy them. This book, I don't even know what happened. It was the trope I hate of teenagers know better than the police, which just, I can't stand that trope. I really can't. And I would not be able to tell you what happened at all. And when I got to the end of the book, because I did listen to this one on audio, I didn't even know what the story had been, and I cared about it so little that I didn't go back and try and work it out. All I know was there was a girl who, her friend died. The police say it's a suicide, she doesn't think it is. And that is all I remember, and I hated it. I was so bored. It just turned into words, and I was not a fan. Next, the most controversial opinion I believe that will be on this list, Shatter by Tahara Mafi, which I read back in May, and I outright hated it. I didn't engage with this book at all, and I thought it was really silly. I understand it's a kind of backlist, all of the tropes YA, including a love triangle, which I don't even understand that, but there was just a lot of this book that made absolutely no sense. The first chapter or so really drew me in because we had, I remember it vividly, we had Juliet, who's being kept in some sort of prison, and she's kind of kept in the dark and not fed and whatever, and I remember those scenes quite vividly, but the rest of the book just turned into absolute chaos. There is one scene I remember from vlogging that made me really emotional because Juliet can't be touched, and it was about her longing for physical touch, and that was really, like, how that was written really made me cry. So I cried at this book, but I still gave it 1 star because the rest of the story was just stupid. Next, we have The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay, and my Goodreads review just says, WTF was this? And agreed. This is a horror book in which nothing happened. I wasn't scared, I wasn't creeped out, I wasn't weirded out, I was just bored. So this is about a young girl who is approached by a stranger in the garden, and this young girl has been adopted by her 2 dads. And they go into the house with the stranger, and the stranger says that one of the 3 of them, so the kid and the 2 dads, one of the 3 of them has to die at the hands of somebody else in the group, or the world is going to end. And that's pretty much the story. I've kind of summarised the whole book there. Yeah, nothing happens. Well, things happen, but nothing worthy of enjoying, in my opinion. I was incredibly bored, and as soon as I finished it, I thought, what have I just wasted my time doing? In position number 3, we have All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater, which I read back in March, and I genuinely thought I read this in 2020. Maggie Stiefvater has written some really good books from way back when. I remember Shiver and Ballad and Lament and all those bits and bobs, all the classic YA. So I had this book from a while back, and I decided it's finally time to give it a go. I found the audiobook and had the physical copy to read along with. I remember one part of this book, and that was there was a radio station that they were broadcasting to, and that was fun, I guess. And then there was something to do with miracles. I feel like somebody could grant miracles, or you waited around for a miracle to happen. Either way, it was over 300 pages long, and I came out of that book not knowing what had happened at all. It was another one of those that just turned into words. I was just reading words that didn't make sense as sentences, and I didn't consume that information at all. I have no idea what happened in this book. Okay, and now we have books 1 and 2, and I should have just done a video on these 2 books because these are the ones that really get my back up. I'm so angry about them. Book number 2 I read in November, and that was Survive the Night by Danielle Vega. I had very high hopes for this book because I read The Merciless by Danielle Vega, which is a body horror YA thing, and I loved it. It was completely trashy. I think I only gave it 3 or 3.5 stars because I knew it wasn't very good, but I loved it. It was just gore, and there was an exorcism, I think, and there were fingers being nailed to things. I don't know, it was disturbing and I loved it. So I thought Survive the Night was going to go the same way. Just to summarize the story, because that really does capture why I'm angry with it. There is a party or a rave that this group of friends go to, and then one of their friends is found murdered. So I believed, and they're locked down in these tunnels, they were old subway tunnels. I believed we were going to have a like manhunt against teenagers. That is not what happened. That is what the story says is going to happen. All I will say, this one word that potentially ruins it. If you don't want to be spoiled at all, if you think you may ever pick up this book, please skip over to when the next book is on the screen. But the one word that gave this book a 1-star review is tentacle. Tentacle. And then I moved on with my life. But yeah, I had to make this list. It had to at least get near the top. And my most awful book of this year was The Haunted Vagina by Carlton Mellick III. This was dreadful. Like, I'm not even sorry. This was something else. I'm actually filming a secret vlog that I've been filming since, I don't even know when I read this, I haven't written it down. I want to say since October. Or September, potentially September, and it's just not ready for you guys because I fell out of love with the video after this book. This is about a woman whose vagina is haunted, and her boyfriend hears noises from it, or voices, and he decides to investigate by entering it, not in a conventional way. Please hold fire for that secret vlog. I go into much detail about how awful this book is, and I'm just so sorry that the video isn't ready. I am hoping to get it up in the first few months of the year. We will see what happens, but I definitely will still be bringing it to you because I just have to talk about this book more. But I wrote in my review, I was curious. I wish I wasn't. Don't do it. And seriously, you're going to hear me saying The Haunted Vagina and you're going to be like, that might be really funny to read. Don't do it, please. So those are my worst books of 2021. Let me know if you agree with any of my opinions. Let me know if you hate me for any of my opinions. I am very, very sorry not. But that is all I have time for today. So thank you very, very much for watching this video. I really do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.